And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Okay, looking at today's map again, we've got clouds and showers here across much of interior Alaska. A little bit more widespread down here to the south, especially in the afternoon. This next system pulling up to the northeast there, bringing wind and rain into the southeast coast currently, and rain backing across from Yakutat to Cordova into Prince William Sound, and now increasing over south central Alaska here. And for tomorrow, that low moves northward, and the front already through the Panhandle and weekends. Another trough keeps the showers going and areas of light rain over the northern areas. Showers scattering out as you head south down toward Dixon Entrance where they end. Next system here developing south of Kodiak Island, and we'll see that tracks northeastward, weakens rapidly into a trough on Wednesday afternoon. So another round of rain coming in Tuesday night and Wednesday, another round of rain and wind for the southeast coast, becoming lighter and more showery. During the afternoon on Wednesday, rain periods from the eastern Alaska Range all the way to the southeast interior Copper River Basin, northward to the Yukon River. Drier out here with some ridging high pressure to the west, and the cold front brings some light rain onto the western central Arctic coast. Light winds continue out over the Bering Sea as this whole area remains storm-free. For coastal water forecast here for the south coast, looking at southwest winds at 15, south to southeast at 20 for the central coast, north coast, east-northeast at 20. Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay, southeasterlies 15 knots. Central southern inner channels south at 15, seas 3 feet. Outlook for Wednesday. South coast there, south at 25 knots, central coast, west-southwest at 25 knots, and south winds at 25 knots for the north coast. Lynn Canal, small craft advisory, same thing for Stevens Passage, winds out of the south and southeast in those areas at 30 knots with 6-foot seas, southwest wind at 20 for Clarence Strait. Prince William Sound, the North Gulf Coast, and Cook Inlet, all the way out to Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands, variable winds, 10 to 15 knots, with seas running 7 feet here in the Pacific, 2 feet for Cook Inlet and Prince William Sound. Then for Wednesday, North Gulf Coast, west winds 15 knots, northwest at 10 for Prince William Sound, Cook Inlet, southwest breeze 10 to 15 knots, and westerlies 25 knots here for the Barren Islands, even stronger for Kamishak Bay, west winds 30 knots there. Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula, Bristol Bay, variable winds 10 to 20 knots, seas 2 to 7 feet. And for Wednesday, small craft advisories for Kodiak Island, westerlies 25 to 30 knots, seas up to 8 feet, and west-southwest winds 15 to 20 knots for the Alaska Peninsula. Bristol Bay, small craft advisories, west winds 25 knots, seas at 6 feet. Eastern Aleutians tomorrow, west winds 15 to 20 knots, Adak and Atka, west winds 15 knots, and variable to southwest winds 10 to 20 knots for the western Aleutians. And for the day Wednesday, variable winds 10 to 15 knots for the western Aleutians, Adak and Atka, south to southwest at 15, eastern Aleutians, south to southwest winds 15 knots, 3 to 7 foot seas. Southwest coast here, variable to north winds at about 10, pretty light. St. Lawrence Island, really light winds. West at 5, west at 10 for Norton Sound, light variable winds for the Pribilofs. St. Matthew Island, southwest breeze at 15 knots with seas 3 feet. And for the day on Wednesday, southwest winds 20 knots, St. Lawrence Island blowing right into Norton Sound. And the southwest coast here, southwest 15 to 20 knots, 3 to 4 foot seas, southwest 15 for St. Paul and St. George, St. Matthew Island, southwest at 20. Up north, eastern Boulevard Sea coast, east-southeast tomorrow at 10 to 15 knots, becomes south at 15 on the central coast. West side, west at 15, Chukchi Sea, west to southwest, 10 to 15 knots. Outlook for Wednesday, Chukchi Sea, south 20 to 25 knots. Small craft advisories here for the western Arctic coast. South winds 25 knots. South at 15, central coast. And a little more variable and lighter for the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline.